guys, today we're in a Ferrari 599 GTB Fiorano. This car came out in 2007. It's the predecessor to the Ferrari F12, and I've always been kind of curious with these cars. I mean, growing up, I loved this car. I always thought it looked cool. Front engine V12, it's more of a GT cruiser car. I think I sort of slept on Ferrari, kind of underrated. I feel like the F12 kind of just overshadowed this car and everyone kind of forgot about it. Maybe that's just me. Yeah,
people talk about the F12, they talk about the 812.
Yeah, you don't.
No one really talks about the 599.
You don't see this car on the road either all that often. I feel like this car has aged quite well.
It has.
Like, I think it's very elegant, especially the flying buttresses in the back.
It looks great.
It's very wide. I want to take it out and see what makes it, I think it's just a really fun experience and why you should potentially buy a 599 in 2023. So we're starting off in the default setting, which is just your sports setting. Being a Ferrari, you do have your Manettino on the steering wheel. You do have your race setting, wet setting, ice setting. Let's get some of the numbers out of the way here. We are working with a 6-liter Ferrari Enzo derived V12. That alone should be all you need to hear. 612 horsepower, 6-speed single clutch F1 paddle shift transmission. Standard procedure from this time period of Ferraris. It's one of the final versions of the F1 transmission, so I'd say it's one of the best performing.
Okay.
Okay, right. Those shifts quicken up like that.
All right.
That is much fast. I've honestly never really spent much time in a 599. I've always kind of wanted to. Those shifts are quick.
That was nice.
Under throttle, they're quick. And that wasn't even race mode. Not as snappy as like the Scuderia, but I mean, it does sound nice. Revs to 8,500 RPM. And let's not forget, this is a V12. The holy grail. Zero to 60 in 3.7 seconds. Top speed is 205 miles an hour. Miles to the gallon, 6.
-3.
Oh. Compared to the F12, it feels big. F12 was a little bit more, it kind of felt like it shrunk in size a bit. This is still that kind of classic old school big boy Ferrari.
More of a cruiser. It feels like it.
It does feel like a cruiser. It sort of floats along the road, and it's not a super aggressive feeling car. It sounds good though. And I suspect it'll be relatively comfy. I'll go over the portion of the road that we always go over.
Oh boy. Hold up.
Hold up.
Hold up.
Other than a Rolls Royce, which I guess we haven't really reviewed a Rolls Royce, but that's probably the comfiest supercar.
One of the McLarens?
Yeah,
nice?
McLarens ride really nice, obviously, but this kind of has like a sort of, it's very plush. It doesn't feel like you're just like stuck on the road. I mean, it has, I'm sure, phenomenal grip at the limit. And yeah, again, it's just hard to beat a V12. It feels big.
It does.
Like in here, I mean, all Ferraris are pretty spacious.
But this is crazy.
This is crazy.
This is nuts.
This is, if I was 900 pounds, I'd still be fine.
That's not true.
What are you talking about? What, from personal experience? But I will say, I do like these seats.
Seats are comfy?
These are the optional like carbon bucket seats, which I think they're good looking. They're comfy. They're not like the super thin race seats like in this like the more modern Ferraris. Visibility is actually pretty good. This has the optional carbon interior packs. It's Splenda. Carbon paddles, carbon steering wheel, the LEDs, carbon dash, carbon central tunnel area. Everything is leather. Gets a little squirrely in the back.
Dude,
I'll say.
I like this spec a lot.
Yeah,
it's very like.
It's classic.
Ferrari,
it's textbook Ferrari.
It really is.
Rosso Corsa on tan with those sort of challenge-looking wheels, which I think are the better wheels. These types of Ferraris, they're known as the gentleman's Ferraris, and it does feel that. I feel classy in this car. And you know what? In the corners, I mean, it's doing this job it's still a Ferrari. The front end is quite long, so you do have to kind of adjust. Compared to like the mid-engine cars, it's a very different driving dynamic, and it feels completely different. You sit further back, you have to Placing the car is a little bit trickier because it is quite wide, but also, like I said, just the front end is elongated. So let's go into race mode. Okay, I will say off the bat, I can already tell race mode is firmed up the suspension to get a bit, not quite as floaty. I mean, it's still a GT car. Okay. Okay. Yeah, transmission's a bit snappier. I'm sure that sounded amazing from the outside for everybody else. It's a little quiet inside because there's a lot of sound deadening. It does have carbon ceramic brakes. This is still a car you could drive every day easily. Proper trunk.
Whoa!
You have a pretty large rear shelf. It's a car that I would be happy to take long distances. Headroom, I mean, it's a lot. But it does seem like the 599 is relatively reliable, at least by Ferrari standards. I mean, I haven't heard of too many major issues with these cars. Other people can attest to that as well. I think at this price point, I think it is a fantastic buy. You could even argue that it's a bargain getting a powerful V12 Ferrari for under $200,000. Pretty rare occurrence. The 550s have gone up, 575s. These are at that price point where I think it's a little bit more attainable than an F12, of course, and it is a lot of fun.